He claims to have spent several hours exploring the fiery surface, gathering samples, and conducting experiments. When asked about his journey, Mr. Schmo simply replied, "It was hot, but totally worth it." While many are skeptical of Mr. Schmo's claim, he maintains that the evidence is irrefutable and that he will be submitting his findings to NASA for further analysis. Now let's go to our field reporter to see what's going on around town.
So, Jeb, tell us what you saw when Jenna Starks aced her exam.
Well, she was so focused on the test and she worked so hard. When she finished, she looked up and her eyes just lit up. Everyone was so proud of her.
Were there any other reactions that you witnessed?
Absolutely. There was a huge burst of cheering and applause from her classmates, and even her teacher had tears in her eyes. It was a really special moment.
You heard it here first. Now back to the studio.
Welcome back to our daytime news segment. We have our correspondent Rick here with a rather peculiar product. What do you have for us today, Rick?
Thank you, Rita. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to the dearly beloved, a unique home decor item that's been making waves in the design world.
Oh boy, here we go. Another weird product. Can't wait to see this one.
Yes, Rick, please tell us more. It's not like we've seen enough useless junk already.
Well, guys, the dearly beloved is a lifelike deer head that doubles as a hat rack. It's designed to add a touch of rustic charm to any room while providing functionality.
Oh great, just what I've always wanted, a severed deer head to hang my hats on. How charming.
I'm sorry, Rick, but who in their right mind would want a creepy deer carcass staring at them while they grab their hat? Seems more like a horror movie prop to me.
Well, I understand it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it has gained quite a following among nature enthusiasts and those aiming for a quirky aesthetic.
I mean, sure, if by quirky aesthetic you mean tacky and tasteless, then I guess there's a market for it.
Rick, please tell me this is just a prank segment, and we're not actually promoting this monstrosity.
No prank, Rita. The dearly beloved is very much real, and it's proving to be a conversation starter in homes across the country.
Well, I don't know about starting conversations, Rick, but it certainly looks like it can haunt some nightmares.
Agreed. I don't think I can look at this thing without feeling disturbed. Thanks for sharing, Rick, I guess.
You're welcome, Rex and Rita. The dearly beloved might not be for everyone, but for those daring enough to embrace its eccentricity, it could become the highlight of their home decor.
In an unprecedented move, video game developer XYZ has teamed up with NASA to incorporate their cutting-edge technology into their new space simulation game called Galactic Explorer. The game allows players to explore space like never before with realistic graphics and physics that accurately simulate the environment of planets, stars, and galaxies. The technology behind the game was originally developed by NASA for use in their space exploration missions. We saw an opportunity to bring the technology to a wider audience and create a truly immersive gaming experience, said John Smith, CEO of XYZ. The game has already received critical acclaim for its attention to detail and accuracy. Players have reported feeling as though they are really in space, and the game has sparked renewed interest in space exploration. NASA spokesperson, Jane Rogers, praised the collaboration and said, "We are excited to see our technology being used in innovative ways and reaching new audiences." Galactic Explorer is set to be released next month and is expected to be a hit among both gaming and space enthusiasts.
Let's see what's happening with the weather.
The storm clouds gather above, promising rainfall and thunder that will shake the very foundations of your soul. Do not cower in fear, for this is a moment of reckoning. As the winds howl and the rain lashes against your windows, you will feel your fears rise to the surface. Embrace them.
We've come to the end of today's top stories. Join us next time, when we'll be reporting from outer space, with the help of our alien friend, Bob. Good evening, folks. I'm Rex, and I'm joined tonight by my co-anchor Rita. How are you tonight, Rita?
I'm good, Rex. Just a little annoyed with you, actually.
What did I do now?
You left the coffee machine on again this morning. I wouldn't have even noticed if I hadn't tripped over the cord and spilled hot coffee all over my dress.
Oh, come on. That was an accident. Besides, I always make the coffee in the morning. It's not my fault if you're not paying attention.
Well, maybe if you weren't always yammering on about sports scores and celebrity gossip, you'd have time to pay attention to the coffee pot.
Hey, I have to keep up with what the people want to hear. And speaking of what the people want, we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. In an unusual turn of events, wealthy banker Robert Bijou, known around town for his eccentric banking techniques and ostentatious style, saved a multitude of snakes from starvation. Mr. Bijou was out for a leisurely walk in his neighborhood when, much to his surprise, he came across 29 rattlesnakes that had been abandoned in a nearby field. Shocked, Mr. Bijou immediately took action and began to frantically feed the emaciated snakes with pieces of fresh vegetables and raw meat he had stored in his expensive briefcase. After nurturing the snakes for the following week, Mr. Bijou called the local animal rescue to assist in relocating the reptiles back to the wild. Surprisingly, the animal rescue team was shocked to find the snakes in such excellent health and credited Mr. Bijou's heroic efforts for their recovery. When asked why he had undertaken this remarkable act of generosity, Mr. Bijou simply replied, "It's not something one can ignore." A local man, Harold, claims to have invented a working invisibility cloak. He says he was inspired by Harry Potter and his desire to sneak into places undetected. When asked why he chose to use it to steal cookies from the grocery store, Harold responded, "Well, who doesn't love cookies?" The store owner, Mrs. Smith, was shocked when she caught Harold red-handed stealing the cookies. She had no idea how he was doing it until he accidentally revealed himself when attempting to reach for a box of Oreos on the top shelf. Mrs. Smith initially called the police but changed her mind when Harold explained his invention. Instead, she struck a deal with him. He could keep the cookies if he gave her the invisibility cloak. Harold reluctantly agreed and handed over the cloak. But it turns out, Mrs. Smith was actually a secret government agent who had been tracking Harold's invisibility cloak. She promptly arrested him and took him into custody. It is unclear what will happen to Harold or the invisibility cloak now.
Residents of the small village of Greenstead woke up to a peculiar sight on Sunday morning. Furniture that had been left out in the open the night before seemed to have come to life, walking about the village square. Witnesses report that chairs, tables, and even couches were strolling around, bumping into each other and making mild chit-chat. While some villagers were naturally alarmed by the strange phenomenon, others seemed to take it in stride. Local shopkeeper Timothy Smithers said, "I wasn't too surprised. Weird things happen all the time in Greenstead." In a surprising turn of events, local resident, Susan Johnson, announced today that her cat, Mr. Whiskers, will be running for mayor in the upcoming election. Johnson claims that Mr. Whiskers is the perfect candidate due to his exceptional communication skills and ability to always land on his feet. She even created a campaign website and social media accounts for the furry candidate. At first, citizens were skeptical of the cat's qualifications, but as Johnson's campaign gained traction, more and more people began to take Mr. Whiskers seriously. Soon, he was appearing on local news programs and even participating in debates. His opponent, incumbent Mayor David Thompson, was clearly nervous about the competition. On the day of the election, citizens flocked to the polls to cast their votes. The results were shocking. Mr. Whiskers had won by a landslide. Johnson and her supporters were ecstatic, while Thompson couldn't believe what had just happened. But just as the victory celebrations were underway, a shocking twist was revealed. It turns out that Johnson had been stuffing the ballot boxes in Mr. Whiskers' favor the entire time. She was promptly arrested and charged with election fraud. In the end, the mayoral position remained with Thompson, and Mr. Whiskers was left to continue his reign as the cat king of Johnson's household. Now let's go to our field reporter to see what's going on around town.
So tell us, Jeb, what did you see while the apocalyptic storm swept across the land?
Well, to tell you the truth, I saw the most peculiar thing. A giant man with a beard and a patch over his left eye came crashing out of the sky, riding on a giant purple ostrich.
That sounds like quite the sight. Can you tell us more about it?
Sure, he was wearing a top hat and a cape, and he had a big, booming voice. He was shouting something like, "The end is nigh. Make haste and repent." It was pretty wild.
You heard it here first. Now back to the studio.
Welcome back to our daytime news segment. I'm Rick, and today I have something truly unique to show you all.
Oh boy, what is it this time, Rick? Another ridiculous gadget?
Well, Rex, you might find it ridiculous, but some people might find it quite interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Wacky Tacky Dumbbell.
Oh please, Rick, that's just a dumbbell covered in colorful feathers. Who in their right mind would actually use that?
Well, Rita, the Wacky Tacky Dumbbell is actually designed to make exercising more fun and entertaining.
Fun and entertaining? More like embarrassing and absurd. Who would want to be caught dead lifting this thing?
Exactly, Rex. I mean, come on, it's a dumbbell for crying out loud. They're supposed to be functional and practical, not covered in ridiculous feathers.
I understand your skepticism, but some people find traditional dumbbells boring and uninspiring. The Wacky Tacky Dumbbell adds a unique twist to their workout routine.
Oh, I can just imagine how serious bodybuilders are going to take this unique twist.
Rick, I can't help but laugh at how ridiculous this looks. It's like someone tried to turn a piece of gym equipment into a circus prop.
Well, Rita and Rex, while it may not be everyone's cup of tea, there's no denying that the Wacky Tacky Dumbbell brings a sense of joy and laughter to those who use it.
I guess if you're into fitness and comedy, it might have some appeal. But personally, I'll stick to the regular, non-laugh-inducing dumbbells.
Agreed, Rex. Let's hope this invention stays in the novelty category and doesn't become the next big fitness trend.
Well, only time will tell, Rita and Rex. Thank you for your honest opinions. That's all for now, folks. Back to you in the studio.
In a stunning upset, local man Jerry Smith has won the world championship for the wildly popular virtual lawn mowing video game, Lawn Mower Madness. The competition took place over 3 grueling days in a massive virtual arena, with players from all over the world competing for the coveted title. Jerry, who had only started playing the game a few months ago, quickly rose through the ranks and made it to the final round against the reigning champion, a teenager from Japan. The final match was intense, with both players expertly navigating complex mazes of hedges and flower beds to see who could finish mowing their assigned lawns the fastest. In the end, Jerry emerged victorious after his avatar rode over a power-up that gave him a turbo boost, allowing him to finish the last lawn just milliseconds before his opponent. The victory was met with thunderous applause from the virtual audience and Jerry was crowned the new champion. When asked how he felt, Jerry said, "I'm just happy to have been part of this incredible experience. This game has brought so much joy to my life and I never imagined I could be a champion at something like this."
Let's see what's happening with the weather.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's weather is unlike any other. The skies may seem gray and dull, but that's only because they're holding back their true power. Today, we will see the winds reach incredible speeds, tearing through anything that stands in their way. The rain will fall so hard, it will feel like sharp needles piercing your skin. But don't be afraid, embrace the chaos and destruction around you. Let the sights and sounds of the storm fuel you to be stronger, braver, and more determined than ever before. Remember, when the storm comes, it's time to shine. So let's make today count, because we might not get a chance to survive the next one. Stay safe, everyone.
In a bizarre turn of events, a unicorn was reportedly found grazing in Central Park this morning. Witnesses say they saw the mythical creature enjoying a breakfast of rainbow-colored flowers near Bethesda Fountain. The NYPD was alerted to the situation and quickly responded to the scene. Officer John Smith says that when he arrived, he was skeptical of the situation. I thought someone was playing a prank on me, but then I saw the unicorn with my own eyes, he stated in a press conference. Animal control was called to the scene, but before they could arrive, the unicorn took off into the sky. It's unclear where the unicorn came from or how it ended up in the park, but many are speculating that it's a publicity stunt for the upcoming release of a new fantasy movie. Regardless, New Yorkers are buzzing about the unexpected sighting of the magical creature. I never thought I'd see a unicorn in my lifetime, said resident Samantha Jones. It's truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. In a shocking display of gluttony, John Doe from Pizza Town ate a record-breaking 50 pizzas in one sitting and was subsequently crowned the new mayor of Pizza Town. The competition, held annually, involves eating as many supreme pizzas as possible.